Hello guys, welcome back to ELA. Today we're going to be reading a biography article about a man named Frederick Douglass. So as you know, we've been reading about Harriet Tubman, and also we learned a little bit about the Civil War and some of the events that led up to the Civil War, like John Brown's attack on the U.S. Arsenal. And we know that Harriet Tubman was born before the Civil War, and the Civil War began in 1861. So let's just review some things that we've learned about Harriet. I'm just going to read a list of some things that we know. We know that Harriet was born in the South in Maryland, and she was a slave. We know that Harriet hated being away from her master, and she was able to escape and become free in the North. Many people use the Underground Railroad to escape to freedom, and we know that Harriet used the Underground Railroad and she helped people escape the South. We also know that Harriet went back and forth many times to free slaves. Some of the slaves called Harriet Moses because she led them to freedom, just like Moses led the slaves in Egypt to freedom. And we also know that Harriet traveled around the country giving speeches about why slavery should end, why slavery was bad. So Harriet Tubman worked hard to bring freedom to all slaves. She thought that slavery was wrong. And many other people agreed with Harriet, and they also thought that. So what could these people do? Let's read to find out about what one man did to try to help end slavery. And this man's name was Frederick Douglass. So I'm going to present my screen right now so that I can read the article out loud to you while you guys follow along. Nope. There we go. Frederick Douglass, a biography. Frederick Douglass was a famous abolitionist. That's someone who worked to end slavery. He was born around 1818, so he doesn't have a specific birthday written down, and he died in 1895. Frederick Douglass was African American. He lived around the time of the Civil War. He made speeches and wrote books against slavery. He even So that right there is a picture, right here, a picture of Frederick Douglass. So he went around and gave speeches talking about how bad slavery was, just like Harriet Tubman did. But Frederick Douglass could read and write, and he also wrote books. Like Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass was born a slave in Maryland. Frederick learned how to read, even though slaves were not supposed to. Later, he escaped to New York. So the blue on the map are places that are the north, and the gray on the map are places that are south. So he was born in the South in Maryland, just like Harriet, but he eventually escaped north and he lived in New York. He worked for a law that gave African American star, and he wanted Black people to be able to vote. Frederick wanted equal rights for men and women. Other leaders like Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony agreed with Frederick. They said that women should be able to vote just like men. So Frederick Douglass worked with women like Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton to get the rights for both Black people and all women to be able to vote. Because during this time, only white men were allowed to vote. Women weren't allowed to vote either. So Frederick Douglass did many things to help end slavery, just like Harriet Tubman did. So now you guys are going to, you can go back, reread the article on your own, and then you'll answer the attached question. Go back to the video or go back to the article if you're not sure about an answer, and try your best. All right, good job, guys.